Shelly Palmer, CEO of strategy firm The Palmer Group. He joins me live from New York. Shelly, it's great to see you. I want to ask you, when Snap went public, I remember sitting here and they described themselves as a camera company, which I thought was unusual. And then, you just know a lot of people think of them as a social network. Others say media is where their potential really lies. What is their business plan from what you can tell?
From what we can tell, nobody knows. They did state that they were going to be a camera company. They were putting a lot behind spectacles, and they were trying to get you to take pictures as a game with their products. They are a social network. They have a big advertising problem. They don't have a usage problem. People tend to like it, but they are being copied mightily by some relatively impressive rivals. Instagram is just really kicking their butt, and just, you have to look at Snap and say, is it a business or a business model? And is it a feature or is it actually something that's defensible? They got to market fast and furious. 160 million some odd people coming there on a regular basis. That's great. But Instagram is a much larger organization, and when they added the feature set, people went there in droves. And so there's a lot of questions. If you're an investor, there's a lot of questions. If you're just a person, there's a lot of questions about what these guys actually do and how they're going to make a living. And today is going to be interesting because as the stock is able to be traded, we'll see if the inside owners of that stock decide it's time to cut and run, or if they stick it out. Hard to know.
Sticking it out when the stock's already down a lot, maybe that changed the scenario about whether it's worth sticking out if you're not going to grab that many profits. Shelly, and you can see it looks like it is trading now 5% right out of the gate.
Yeah, makes sense.
Apple also reports earnings this week. I always think of you as more of an Android fan than an Apple fan, but I could be wrong.
No.
That's what I thought. But I know you've sort of wondered about this, but do you see growth beyond the phone? I mean, a lot of those profits still come from the iPhone, and there's no doubting the strength of that. But is there anything else at Apple that's going on that you think is worth watching?
Look, if you look at AR Kit rather, their augmented reality tool set, software is being coded for that right now. Either the next iPhone is going to be the next coming of the Lord, or it isn't. My guess is it is going to be the next coming of the Lord, and you're going to see Apple all phone all the time, and we're going to be transported to a world of augmented reality courtesy of Apple. If that's not what happens, if it's just a slightly better phone with a slightly better camera, with a slightly better processor, with a little more memory, with a little better photos, Apple may have some splaining to do, but my guess is that's not what's going to happen. So there are supply issues, there are delays, the rumors abound, everybody's talking about what's going to go down with Apple. I think they're going to have a quiet quarter. Their earnings will either going to match guidance or just be plus or minus a couple percentage points either way. Certainly it wouldn't surprise me if the phone sales were down this quarter in anticipation of the next phone, which is not been announced, but everybody's expecting, being slightly delayed or knowing that it's coming. But I don't think this is going to be a big active quarter for Apple. What's next? Augmented reality and the next coming of the Lord in a phone.
Yeah, exactly. And you are right. That's what a lot of people are talking about, looking at the future. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I want to round out this conversation, Shelly, with Uber. Are they taking their time looking for a new CEO and the executive staff, or are they having a hard time finding somebody who wants to take on that challenge?
So Travis gets out in the press the other day saying he's Steve Jobsing it, that he's sort of going to find his way back in. The palace intrigue and espionage at Uber is almost like it's its own reality show. Everybody I know who's very well sort of positioned to know the inside story is just shaking their head and saying, when's this nonsense going to be over so they can get back to work? I don't think they're any closer to finding a CEO who would want to work there. Meg Whitman is out. They've got 4 candidates or so they've narrowed it down to. They need a CEO and they need one fast, but they really also need to just calm down and get back to work. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. I'm not optimistic that it's going to happen based on the reality show that is Uber, but it's possible. Let us hope, because it's a great concept and a great company. They do have some competition, and the one thing they had in their favor was they were out first, they were out fast, and they were really just getting traction. And now it seems like, while they're being distracted, other people have time to catch up and do stuff.
That's right, and we've been talking to the folks at Lyft, and they are taking the opportunity to do just that. So they do need to get somebody in there. Shelly, always great to catch up with you. Thank you so much.
My
Shelly
pleasure.
Palmer for us.